Hello my fellow pin enthusiasts. I've got another pin news video, and today there's a lot of really cool stuff to discuss in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into it so we can start talking about some of the different pins that are out there available right now. So we're going to start with a pin that really we've talked about quite a bit, but they've launched some new colors within this specific model, and that's the Moonman M600S. Now, I'm going to pop the first image up here on the screen, and this one that you're looking at right now is the Star Blue Acrylic, is what they're calling it. So obviously, as you can tell, really nice, rich, almost like a royal blue color. Got definitely some copper, gold, reddish undertones within the acrylic mixture. Now this pin is available through Easy Buy on their Etsy store, and I'll put up on the screen the name of the seller. And they actually have this available in 3 different nib options, which I think is amazing. So when you think about, I know a lot of us sometimes get tired of just always getting a fine or an extra fine nib on a lot of Chinese pins, and a lot of us are usually changing those nibs out. Now you'll notice in this picture, this pin is available with a gold tone nib now. So now we're seeing it's still the, I think it's what, the 35 millimeter, basically a number 6 size nib that Moonman is offering, but now we have it in a gold nib as well. Now the cool thing about it is it's available in its original fine nib, but it's also available, they're going to offer it in a medium nib as well as a bent nib. Now I don't know what the bent nib, if it's like a fine nib that has an upturn, I don't know exactly, it doesn't specify on there. Now the price range for this pin is between $25 and $30, and there's an option on there to get all 3 nibs. Now of course the medium and the bent nib are going to be a different nib brand. So it doesn't specify what brand that is. Of course, it's not going to be a Moonman nib specifically. Now you can buy it with either a medium or a bent nib or the original fine, or you could actually buy it with all 3 nibs, which I think is a pretty cool option when you think about it. So let's upload some more pictures. Now here we can see an up-close view of the actual nib itself. Of course, most of you, if you've been looking at this pin before or you already own one, you know what this section is like and kind of what it looks like and what it feels like, for instance, if you own one. Really good picture, I think, of that acrylic as well in this image. And then here, let's upload a 3rd image, and this is going to show the pin in its uncapped form. I really like the look of the cap on this specific pin. Obviously, every acrylic pin is going to be different based off of where they cut that rod, but this one definitely is attractive. I think that cap looks really nice with those orange hues through it. And then we'll upload another image here. And again, this is just showing the pin uncapped. You get a really nice look at the nib, that really nice attractive gold tone nib. I think it looks good with this color combination with the acrylic. Nice look at the cap, the clip, as well as part of the body of the pin also. So for the most part, that is the Star Blue acrylic pin. Now I'm going to put up another image up on the screen. Now you're going to actually see not only the 2 of the original pins that were launched within this model, but now we see the Star Blue acrylic and we see a purple color too. I think this purple one is very attractive, very, very nice. I'm going to pop up another image. So with this one, it's the same thing. So this pin is available on Easy Buy's Etsy store, and you can also get this pin in 3 different nib options, and the price point is basically the same. So you just pick which color you want on the pins, and then you can pick your nib options as well. So again, I think that's a great, really great option. You can get the pin, you can save, I think, a little bit of money if you get the pin without its box. And remember, on the pin coffins with this one, it is that second kind of iteration of the Moonman packaging. So this should be the box that you'll typically receive. But again, I think that this is another attractive color. I think it's definitely worth checking out. If you're a big fan of purple, I think this is a very pretty pin. And then one last image of the nib. This again is just a really nice close-up. It's got that upside down crescent to it, nice gold tone nib. I love gold nibs, so this might be a nib that, or a pen that at some point I look at getting. And then here's just one last marketing image, kind of shows the packaging, all 4 pens together again, just to kind of sell that to you. I did notice in some of the pictures on other seller sites as well, the purple one in certain lighting definitely looks darker. I don't know if that was because there were different cuts of acrylic or what, but just something I thought I would mention, and it could have just been the lighting and the pictures. Obviously, these are marketing pictures, so they're gonna be just really high def, so the pen's gonna look a little bit different than what it looks like in these pictures sometimes. But still, all in all, I think very, very attractive. Really cool that they're launching these new colors. All right, let's move on to our next pen. And this one I really kind of wanted to share because I thought it would be kind of cool. It's a little different. Really haven't talked really at all about Delike lately. So I'm gonna pop the first image up here. And this pen, according to eBay and what I've seen about it, this is the Delike Element Brass Fountain Pen. Now this is another brass fountain pen. So a lot of you, if you have gotten the Delike Alphas, they're definitely nice. Even though they're considered a pocket pen, they're still substantial, especially the brass or the metal versions. Now, this is not necessarily a small pen. So when we're talking about this pen specifically, so this pen is available on eBay. One of the sellers that I've ordered from before, and I'll put their seller tag up on the screen, but it's Art Pen Book DY. They actually have this pen available again in 3 nib options, which I think again is giving you a selection. So you have it available in the extra fine Delike nib, as well as the extra fine bent Delike nib, which is a great nib if you haven't ever tried one of those. But they also are offering a medium nib as well. It doesn't specify if the medium nib is an aftermarket, meaning if it's a different brand name. I would imagine that it would be, but I don't know for certain, so I'm not going to necessarily say that for certain. The size of this pen, so when we put it into perspective of the Delike Alpha, that's definitely a pocket pen. This one's 120 millimeters capped, so it's definitely a little bit larger. Now the weight on this pen is 44 grams, so definitely not a lightweight pen. This could probably be used as a weapon almost. So we'll upload a second image, and this one's cool. So we get to see some of it. Looks like the packaging. So if you were to order this pen, this would probably be the type of packaging you'd receive it in. Delike's pretty well known for that. Kind of like they always, a lot of aluminum packaging, things like that, tins and stuff. My Alpha that I ordered, that's how mine came, was in a really nice aluminum package. So I think it's, again, nice packaging, really cool, really interesting. Of course, as you'll notice, here's an image. I'm going to pop this one up. Someone's holding the pen. The pen right now is posted. If you notice, there are threads on the back end of the barrel. So that actual cap threads on to the end of the barrel. This pen does remind me a little bit of a Kaweco Lilliput. I don't think, obviously I think sizing is going to be different. It just does remind me of that. Of course, the Delike Alpha is closely related to, or an homage pen you could say, to the Kaweco Sport. So it wouldn't surprise me for them to do something similar like this. Here's an additional image. This is just kind of showing an up close look of that brass material, kind of giving you an idea of what that looks like. And then we'll get into our 5th image. And this is really just kind of showing you an up close personal look of those nibs. So you'll notice that the one on the left is the one that has the upturn, and the one on the right is our just traditional extra fine Delike nib. So you have those 2 nib options. It does not show an image of the medium nib. And then here, this next image, we can actually see kind of what I was referring to earlier on how that threading system works and how there are threads on the back end of the barrel. In this image, it does look like there's definitely some texturing to the brass material, which probably would feel kind of nice in the hand versus it just being a straight piece of brass necessarily. Looks like they definitely did texture that material, so it should feel pretty nice in the hand. And then of course we got to see what the filling system is like, and it does have that traditional Delight filling system. Very similar to what you get in your Delight Alpha. So, and I like the converter in my Delight Alpha. It works well, never had an issue with it. So I think this setup will definitely do the job. So again, I didn't mention the price for this one. This is actually only selling for $15.80. This is through that specific seller. That's Art Pen Book DY. There are other sellers that have this pen available. I've seen it anywhere between $14 to $18. So I think a good middle road would be around $15 to $16. And this seller again has it available in 3 different nib options. The 2 Delight nibs that you're used to, as well as a 3rd medium nib option. So I think that's kind of nice. All right, so let's move on to our next pen. And I'm gonna just pop the image right up. And this is the Lorelei converter fountain pen. Now, not a specific model name on this pen necessarily. It just literally says Lorelei resin converter pen. Now, this is available on eBay. This specific pen I saw on Nana 20-36 seller. I have ordered a pen from this seller before. Easy transaction, did not have any issues. The price range for these pens is available. So the base price is around $18. That can go all the way up to $28, and that's for the autumn color. So they do have this available in an autumn color as well, which I'll show you images of that. So there's 3 colors you're seeing right here on this image, but there's a 4th color technically. Now, as far as sizing goes, this is 140 millimeters in its capped form and weight's about 17 grams. So about average, I mean, decent size, but about average for most of your acrylic pens as far as weight goes. These 3 colors are definitely attractive. You have a green one. That clear one in the middle, I think, is being labeled as a cherry. And then you, of course, see your yellow and green swirl. Now this next image is actually the autumn color that we see popped up here. Now this is, I think, again, I know a lot of you love the Pen BBS autumn acrylic. So this will kind of fit into that mold. Of course, Bobby, I think, what was it, 2 pen videos ago, he had the piston filler version of the Lorelei with the autumn pieces as far as the section, the blind cap, and the cap finial all were acrylic pieces. So this is now a full-bodied acrylic. Now this is a converter pen, so again, just FYI on that. Now in our 3rd image here, we actually see that nib. The nib is basically the same from what we've seen in most of these Lingmo pens. I'm just gonna say Lingmo because it's I still think I'm mispronouncing the name of the actual pen. Moving on to our 4th image. Here we see, again, I think this one is labeled as the cherry, which would make somewhat sense. It has kind of some reddish pink hues through it. I think it's an attractive color. You get a nice look at the actual converter there. Nice gold tone finishes on the cap band as well as the clip, so it looks really nice. Now moving on to our 5th image, and this one was one that kind of threw me off because I didn't see it available, and it doesn't have the looks, doesn't have like the swirls in it like the previous image did. So this to me looks like a clear acrylic version, but I didn't see it available on the actual seller's page. So I don't know if this is maybe just an image and I just didn't see it, but I figured I would share it anyways. And then on pick 6, we have some of that packaging. So you can kind of see how the packaging is. So a nice little pen coffin. Nothing really, other than that. I mean, just a nice little packaging. Now the autumn color has its own little package. Now, this here makes me think that maybe, and I could be 100% wrong, I don't know what those series of numbers actually mean. I was hoping maybe that would be the model number 667, which it could be, but definitely the autumn color has kind of its own little packaging, which would be interesting to see in person, because you can tell that on the sides of the box that's holding the pin, it looks like there might be some more information on that as well. And then for our next image, we see that green one again inside of its pin coffin. So really cool, really nice to see some really attractive acrylics with some other pin brands. So I mean, I think this is really neat. So I'm pretty excited. I have not ordered one of these because there's really a lot out there, and I haven't made my mind up on what pins I want to order, because I'm probably not going to order all of them, of course. So I need to make a decision on what I am going to order myself. Now, we're going to move on to the next one. Before we do, I'm going to get a drink of water real quick because I've been talking for a while. And we're going to move on to another Lingmo Lorelei, or Lorelei, piston filler. Now, this one is not like the ones we saw a couple weeks ago that were launched. This one, I just posted the image up, is another autumn color. Now, this is labeled as a piston filler on the seller's website. And this one, and I'll put the seller's description up on the screen again. This one, the price for this is of course a little bit more premium. It's around $26.99 to $28.99 if you want the box or the packaging, so to speak. So you can buy the pin, so you can save $2 by just having them ship it to you without the actual pin coffin, or you can pay the additional $2 and get it with the pin coffin. So this does come with what it says on the seller's description. It comes with a fine nib. The length of the pin is 142 millimeters and the weight is around 22 grams. So a little bit heavier than the converter sibling, which makes sense because there's probably there's more inside of that pin as far as the inner workings. But this is a piston filler. I think that's really cool. Now, this pin does not show these images do not show the section or the nib. I'm going to assume that the nib is probably basically about the same as the other Lorelei pins that we've been seeing. Now, our second image again is just kind of showing off the pin. I wish I had more images, but right now I don't. And then I'll pop up a third image, and again, this is just kind of showing off the actual body of the pin. I think it's really cool though. Again, this is another good seller to order from. It is on eBay available right now. So check it out. This is one that I'm really tempted on because I like piston fillers, and I think I don't have a pin in this color. I don't have an autumn acrylic, so this would be a really nice one to own. All right, so we're gonna move on. We still have two more pin related things to share. There's a lot this week. So the next image that I have, I'm going to pop up. This one won't take as long, but you'll see two Moonman nibs. I thought this was kind of cool. So these are available right now on eBay as well. And these are Moonman, of course, the number 6 size nibs. They have the silver and the golden nib available for $3.95. I thought that was a pretty good deal. It looks like you get the entire nib unit. So if, number one, you get a nib, you're not extremely satisfied with it, you could order just the same Moonman nib and have it shipped to you. Or if you just want some extra ones to have on hand, if you're into maybe doing some type of nib grinds yourself and you thought, okay, maybe this would be some nibs that I could use, there's a few options there. So I thought I would share that. Of course, I'll pop up the seller's tag on the screen for you, so that way you'll know exactly where to go. But really, if you just go to eBay and type in Moonman nib, this one will pull up, and this one again is selling for $3.95 for the entire unit, and that's per nib and unit, of course. All right, this is our last pin that I am going to share, and I'm going to go ahead and pop the first image up. For those of you that follow Bobby on his Instagram account, Office Supplies Pin, you've probably already seen these images, but these are the new Jinhao wooden fountain pins. I say new. They are available in 2 different colors, as you can tell on here. So you have the red one and the brown one. So you have kind of a red wood and you have a really attractive brown wood as well. And so they're wooden fountain pens. We've all seen wooden fountain pens released, but these are a little bit more special. So here's a second image, again, just showing the pens, and then we'll get into more images. And this is where kind of the excitement for me at least starts, and hopefully for you as well. Before I pop up the other images, talk a little bit about price. So these are available in Bobby's eBay store, at least where I found them. The price starts at $8.20. and is capped at about $19.20. So there's a reason why there's a more expensive option. They are available in fine, medium, fude, and architect nib. So you have 4 nib options. The architect nib is the most expensive, which is $19.20, so just below that $20 mark. Now, as far as the length of this pen, it's around 140 millimeters. Definitely, you can tell it's somewhat girthy, decent size. There is no weight listed. You know, I would imagine this pen being in the middle 20 grams probably, or at least that's what I would assume it would be. Now, let's look at the images because Bobby is providing writing samples with all of the different nibs. So the first image I'm going to pop up is just from the original Jinhao fine nib. So here you can see a writing sample of him, you know, messing around with that nib and actually using it. And then the next one is his fude nib that he did. So here you can see it's about 1.2 millimeters, really cool. You can tell obviously it's a very wet writer based off of that image. So I think that's a really neat nib to possibly look at. And then we see his custom medium nib. And again, this one looks like a very nice writer. So you're going to get, you know, a little bit of line variation from the nib. Your line width is going to be greater, of course, than the fine nib. It'd help if I could learn how to talk. And then the 6th image here is the architect nib. And this is one that I think is really cool. So again, if you're into kind of some different nib ideas and designs, I mean, for $20, I think it's a pretty darn good deal. You get a pen, a nib, that's a specialty nib grind, and for under $20. I don't think you can complain about that. And from what I could see, there was free shipping on the pen as well, so you didn't have to pay anything for shipping. And then I'll pop up one last image. This is the brown wood with an architect nib as well. So again, really cool. Shouldn't really have to pay a lot for the shipping or anything like that. So I think it's definitely worth taking a look at. That is all I have. This felt like a marathon. 22 minutes and 40 seconds is where I'm at right now. So I don't think I could talk much longer. I'm actually kind of sweating a little bit, which I don't know if what that means. But real quick, before I get off, I did want to share a couple other things, some things that I've received in the mail just recently. Just got this a couple days ago. I have not inked it yet. When I do the pen review on this, I'll do, because this does have the different nib in it. This is the Paley pen, and I don't see any specific differences to it. I mean, a little bit obviously in the cap band, of course the nib. So I'll ink this one up when I do the pen review on camera, and then of course do some writing with this for the pen review. So really excited to get that. I'm going to try and get that review out as quickly as possible. I've got some other ones I have to do, of course. And then I did get the Moonman C2 in that kind of candy apple red color. Very, very pretty pen. ChrisRap52 already uploaded a video of his, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. If I remember correctly, his is the clear acrylic version. My next video that I will do, I'm working on it already, is the Natami Inception. So this will be up hopefully soon, within the next probably 3 to 4 days at the most. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, there's a lot to share this week, and there will probably be a lot more to share next week. But until next time, everyone, please take care out there. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.